It's a local cafe with affordable prices for everyone that works and lives in East Liberty to come and eat.
What's the name of your facility?
Every day is a Sunday cafe.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And what are you located close to?
Right in between Whole Foods and Target.
Okay.
Right on Center Avenue.
No, I meant time.
So this is some of the fare that you.
Yes, these are some of the small bites that we do for catering. These are the sandwiches that we serve in our store, as well as the homemade lemonades that we make.
Tell us about your lemonades. I see different colors.
Yes, there's blueberry and strawberry lemonade. So they're made fresh daily. We make a homemade soup every day. And
Here, let me
different
just give you my
sandwiches.
card so you can tell me.
We make homemade pastries. And everything's made fresh every day.
And the name of your business, your name again, and your location.
My name is Natalie Decaps, and the name of the business is Every Day is a Sunday and Cafe, and we're located here in this.
Thank you
Great,
very
I'm
much.
glad you're hanging out. So eat up, get some food. Oh, there's a coat rack. Back here to the left, there's a coat rack for those who want to hang up coats. No, the first 10 minutes. I guess I can put the Hi, welcome, Ingrid. And you are.
On the admissions.
Well, please eat. This is our the first few minutes. We're just getting our plates, and hopefully you'll meet someone that you have a size we'll get started. And I like short for Nicole. Short for Dominique. Dominique. Oh, very good. Please, if you don't mind.
Working.
Yes, you'll have to come by. No, we're not. We close at 3. We cater.
Yay!
Yep. Do we're closed?
They're having an event and basically
Oh,
like
great.
devote their 3 finals.
Yes, it's right
And
that
they
way.
pitched to me this it's like a visionary
It is. There's a group of guys. They're here. I saw them. They
because of all this
because of Douglas and Castlegar, but they want to use it as
It's
an
right on
economic
Center
matter
Avenue.
because
Do you know
their
where,
proposal made
Kelly's
good
Bar
points
is?
that I didn't really think of.
I'll show
And
you.
that's the millennials in it. They just don't have anything to do
where Chile is?
because of Douglas and like other
Well, right now,
younger
just keep
people that
walking
are
up.
there. So they're trying to like channel that in a way since Douglas has the makeup and special effects and stuff.
Really?
So basically basically we have to get people to attend this event, and they're like willing to.
Hi, welcome. Tell me more.
I will.
Sign in. Welcome.
Oh, you did okay.
The group wraps down to the left.
Okay.
And we're glad to have you. So if you don't know anybody in the room, if you can at least learn the name of someone new. I think I've learned 4 already today. Grab a plate and then we'll get started. And we might have some late stragglers, but I think that's quite all right.
Raise a sandwich. Egg salad. Hello, Matt. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm Natalie. From Madison. Congratulations.
Oh, she's in Menneson, and she's employing people from Menneson.
Yes, I heard. 2 employees.
Yeah, how about that?
So you did the food.
I did the food.
Oh, that would be a good photo.
It would for all 3 of us.
Yeah,
He's actually going to. Well, they're taking pictures from the inclusive innovation.
Yes, I know. I met them. So they got the store. Well, you have your brother?
No, actually.
Oh, you have to come for lunch.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it for
There's a card.
There's
I
the
grabbed the card. I just
It's
didn't
li-
look at it.
Yeah, you need to hire her.
It's
for
right-
the next catering.
right in front of those new apartments.
Across the corner from BRG.
Yeah.
She's employing people from Menneson.
Oh,
Yeah, and she's a
exactly.
Menneson resident too.
Yeah, cool.
We'll find an event. We'll make an
Yes.
event.
We'll make an event,
Make
yes.
an event.
I like events.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah,
And
you know what?
leadership.
Dartmouth Homes donated her space to me. So that apparently they got that big church up by the cemetery, so they have this big meeting place.
Oh, yeah,
And
they
she was like,
did buy that.
she said, whenever you want it, it's yours. I said,
Okay.
it'd be a reason to dress up.
Let's do something. I don't know what, but let's figure it out.
Wait, you're from Menneson?
Yes. Where are you from?
I'm from, my family's from Menneson.
Oh, are you? We're all 3 from Menneson. So's Ingrid.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What's your family's name?
Johnson's?
You're
Jackie
from, wait a minute,
Johnson.
who else is from Menneson?
His family's from Menneson.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Johnson.
Johnson?
Jackie Johnson. Lisa
Michelle Johnson?
Nah, I don't know Michelle Johnson. Anisha Johnson.
Anisha Johnson.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
that's my,
Okay.
you mean Peachy?
Peachy's my uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my cousin.
For real? Yeah. And Marguerite, yeah.
What is your name?
Tyler.
Tyler.
And where are you
Oh,
from?
it's a small world.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
you're from Menneson.
Oh, wow.
Small world.
That's a small world.
That's cool.
It's a very small world.
Yeah. So these are people from Vice
So I'm going to ask you guys, so there was like 27 people who registered, so interesting.
Where's the
Oh, right here. Right here. Where I got it.
So I'm going to ask people to sit in the, we're going to start off, and I'll pull up the agenda here. But for publication purposes, it'll be helpful to fill in these seats right here, if you don't mind. And then we'll actually break out later into sessions where you can go back to the company seats. So if you can just fill in from the front.
That's turkey.
Okay, so welcome. I am so glad that you are here. Hannah, are you coming too? You guys have to meet Hannah. Okay, Hannah has an awesome company too. I like to give her a shout out. So welcome to TX3 Power. My name is Ingrid. Here's a quick snapshot of the agenda. The first thing on the agenda was a warm welcome. So hopefully you are feeling warm, and hopefully you met someone new. So I want to, how many people met someone new? Yay! Yay! So why don't you, if you met someone new, we may have something for you. But tell me about who you met, if you met someone new. Tell me about the person you met.
Right. I met Christina and learned that she was exposed to this workshop without even knowing you, Ingrid, which speaks to the marketing of the event.
Wow. Yeah, I found that out in the bathroom too. we met up in the bathroom and she told me that. I said, wow, that was my reply. Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome, Christina. Who else met someone new? Did you meet someone new? No.
I did. So I met guys that were doing the videography
Right here. Oh, you need to be here.
from Innovative, all of you. And I have a business down the street from Natalie on Center Avenue, which used to be Penn Circle South. I have Panache, and I'm an organic clothing boutique.
Oh, nice.
And I've been in East Liberty since 1983, would you believe? When I was a toddler. And I have all natural fabrics in my store. It's a wonderful little boutique. And you all should come. But I'm always open to learning and meeting new people. So it was a great little preview experience. Yeah.
Excellent. Beautiful. And give us your name once more.
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Katina.
Okay. And who did you meet?
I met the guys doing
Do you
the work.
know their names?
Yeah, it was Tyler
Tyler.
and, sorry, what was your name?
Just
Justin.
Sherman.
So
All three of
okay.
them.
All right. Tyler, Justin, Sherman.
Yeah.
So you met three.
I met three
All
guys.
right.
Yeah.
Brand new. You never met
knew them
before.
before. Yeah,
Okay.
so it was really great.
All right. Well, you know what? Wait a minute. Has someone topped her 3 new people? No?
Sorry. Right. Yeah. We're fine. Yeah.
Go ahead, Christine.
I said I met you,
Mm-hmm.
and Brian, I met Terry, and he asked me, I know he knows you, you guys share a office space and stuff together, and then I met Nick.
Nick. Yeah. I know.
And I just told her I loved her dress.
All right. Good deal. No one met you.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and I work here.
Hello. Nice to meet you, Nicole. Working in a great space.
Isn't it a great space?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Alicia Hall and I have a business by the name of House of Grains and Beans where I make all natural juices and smoothies and energy drinks and the list goes on. So yeah, I'm here. I was invited by Nellie.
Good. Thanks, Natalie. Where's your business at?
Okay, so right now I am doing Share Kitchen. So, it's more of a shared commercial kitchen where I basically do a lot of my products and I just deliver them out.
Okay, good. Make sure you guys leave business cards in the back for all business owners, which we have a lot of them here, actually.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm the owner of Every Day's a Sunday and Cafe here in East Liberty. I cater the food, and today I met Tyler, and I also met Justin, and I also met Matt, who is the mayor of Menneson, and which I'm from Menneson, and Ingrid's from Menneson. And we found out that Tyler is also local too, so it was lovely to meet him.
Yeah, and we have family in
Yes.
We're neighbors.
And I'm neighbors to Suzanne, who owns Panache, wonderful boutiques down the street.
Wonderful. Do you gentlemen want to say anything?
No.
No? Okay.
We talked about you enough.
So we do have the mayor of Menneson, our hometown, who drove all the way from Menneson. That's a little, people were like, wow. Have you even heard of Menneson?
We get that a lot.
It's far.
So Matt, she's never heard of Menneson.
Okay.
I see you on TV, Matt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
Like Ingrid said,
That's great.
from the same hometown, and nice to learn that Natalie is too. But Menneson's south of Pittsburgh. It's a typical steel city, like the rest of Mon Valley. Think of Clarendon, Duquesne, similar, old city. So yeah, I was just elected mayor in January, so I'm on my third month, and it's been very interesting. So I'm trying to build a connection to the city of Pittsburgh and the surrounding region to Menneson. So just trying to find every opportunity to do that. So if you're in the area, come visit. We have some good restaurants, so good to know. But
Good. Well, thank you for driving out, really. All right. Okay, so, heck, I probably have a door prize for everybody. I don't understand, why do people register? I mean, there were over 27, and I went up to 32, and I'm like, wow, so thanks for bringing guests. It's funny, because when I expect a very small amount, like the last Mon Valley Connect deal, then it was packed out, and when I expect a lot of people, but it's all good, because you know why? This is not coincidental. You were meant to be here for a time such as now, and it was meant for this group for now. So I am excited that you are here. And I promise you, you're not going to listen to me for the next 2 hours. This is all about me sharing some techniques. This is totally interactive. All of you got this sheet on your seat. So TX3 Power, honestly, I was sitting home on my couch when I came up with this. I swear it was divine intervention, because when I thought about the power of our thoughts, our God-given talents, and our tenacity, and even when I looked up the definition of tenacity, and we'll talk about that, that willingness to persevere no matter what, every time we feel like giving up, that why that keeps you going. And it's great that there are so many people in business here, because you know how that feels. I think I think it's just part of being human, no matter what kind of business you are. So this is ultimately going to be our guide for tonight. Door prizes, what is your name again?
Suzanne.
Suzanne met the, 3 I think was the match. Oh no, you were at 3 too. So I have some door prizes to give Christine and Suzanne. Are anybody coffee drinkers? No? Runners? List? The list goes on. So you have your choice. These are beautifully set quotes by remarkable women. This is gourmet coffee. And this comes from the women of CHIPS, which is IP, Women in Policy, Women in Law. As well as this, if you're a runner, Advancing Women in Tech, Advancing Women in Law, Advancing Women in Public Policy. So,
I was going to say,
coffee?
drinkers, yeah.
All right. The book?
Great, thank you.
Great quotes in that.
Thank you.
Beautiful quotes. All
Okay,
right.
thanks.
She got the coffee list. I believe should go to our food sponsor. And you were the first to speak. You know, most people don't like being the first. Ryan, you were the first, and you can use this at the office. So Ryan works in this space as well. Yes. All right. So I got that done. So small group breakup. So this is so we're gonna break up into groups, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We're gonna have 15-minute segments. Don't worry. You're going to know exactly what the role we're playing in those segments, what your role will be. We'll take a quick break if we need to. And then we're going to do a large group wrap-up session, and we're going to talk about the things that you came up with in your small group. And then we'll do final remarks, because we're going to edit this. So hopefully you may see yourself on some sort of publication in the future. This may actually be a book later. So it's really, I'm learning more about you, but my goal is to serve you. So these are things that have made me, or brought me to the place that I am right now. So I'll give you a quick, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm glad that a lot of you do not know me. So who is Ingrid Cook anyway? I'm a native, born and raised Menneson. Left when I was 17 because it was, actually it's far more depressed now than it was when I grew up. And, but I left in 1991, studied in Boston, Atlanta, worked in big corporations for one corporation for 20 years before venturing out on my own and starting a company called Shazoom. So Shazoom, we got our first patent issued last year. I'm pretty pumped about that. Been working on it since 2010. If you're ever involved in a minor fender bender, you snap a picture depending on where you're located. It goes out to all the body shops within a 20-mile radius, and they're able to send you repair quotes to your phone. We just recently had a customer come in and visit us and gave us live feedback, and you didn't even realize that there's another product out there. He loved the fact that we were able to be his advocate and walk him through the process. He didn't trust the insurance company, he didn't trust the body shop, and we were able to answer his questions. And people, there are a lot that you don't necessarily know when you're involved. I probably wouldn't have if I wouldn't have spent 20 years in the industry. We're also testing out something brand new that I'm not privy to disclose yet. But visit Shazoom. We are doing customer discovery, so we'd love to get your feedback. We have some mock-ups that we're working out, rolling out some brand new things. So we'd love to hear from you. My cards are up here, so please take them. All right? So why am I here? So really, that question is for you. And there's a mic there. I have one more prize, I think, to give. Oh, maybe I don't. But I'm interested to know what you expect to get out of today. Why are you here? Just someone share, because this is really interactive. Christine actually, surprised me when I went in the bathroom and asked her how did she, we met at the sink in the bathroom, and I said, oh, how did you hear about it? And she gave me the story, but she has an interesting story about why you're here, and I don't think I asked specifically what you expect to get out of today. So if you want to.
Christina. Well, I found out on Twitter, and it was a tweet that said it was Inclusive Innovation Week here in Pittsburgh. I didn't even know that was that. So then I clicked on it and it went to schedule, and it had all the different things. And I looked at each one, and I saw purpose, the TX3, and I liked it because it's finding out, because I'm in like a gap, I guess. I'm starting something new, and I'm from what I used to be, you know what I mean, so what I was doing, and so it's like a fear, but then I'm courageous. I needed more things put into it. I need some more, you know. I just need someone to tell me that I'm doing it. It's okay to do it, to step out, you know, besides myself or my husband or my mom, or you know, I just need more encouragement.
Oh, that's wonderful. You have the power. And it's funny that you mentioned fear. I mentioned earlier today, I said nothing happens by coincidence. I didn't realize until the other day that today marks the 50th year commemoration of MLK's assassination. And when I think about his speech that he did the night before in Memphis, where Shazoom originated in Memphis, crazy enough, yes. I remember listening to that speech, and he said, I'm fearing no man. And you mentioned fear. Fear, I believe, is the number one, whether we admit it or we don't admit it, fear is the number one thing that prevents us from attaining our purpose. When you think about fear, what can I do it? What will they say? how will it look? And we're gonna really talk about that fear. I'm glad that you brought that up, because at the end of the day, your purpose isn't connected to man. MLK knew that. That's why he said, I'm fearing no man, because the purpose wasn't connected with man. So thank you for sharing. You are courageous. Whatever it is, you're going to be just fine at it, right? Because you don't mind stepping out. And that's why you have 90% followers and 10% leaders in the world. Fear. And that brings us, great, lead in. So we're going to talk about what's your definite aim in life. If you don't have a pen, compliments of Shazoom. Check out Ascender for those of you who want personalized visits and tours of Ascender. I'm so glad I heard a lot of you saying, wow, this is beautiful. I'd be happy to walk you around later. Every day is a Sunday cafe. Boy, we're going to have lots of food to take home. Digital Pittsburgh, Sherman, you do such a phenomenal job. Thank you for coming at the last minute. So, when you think about your purpose, well, let me ask you this, because this is discussion. I almost feel like we should sit in a circle. How many of you know, without a doubt, what your purpose is? Like what you were born, before you were conceived in your mother's womb, that there you were purposed to come through that particular person at that particular time for this particular reason. You know without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt.
I'd have a hard time putting it into definitive language, but it's a feeling that it's undeniable.
It's a feeling that's undeniable. I need to write that down. Oh no, you're videotaping, right? Okay. I like that. It's a feeling that's undeniable. And you know when you're feeling it. Oh, do you know, have you always felt it?
I'd say every day I'm growing into a awareness of it and intimate relationship with that feeling.
Intimacy. That's an interesting choice of words there. Can you, who can relate with that? You can relate? I'm just going to pass this around. What's your name again?
Alicia.
Alicia, do you know without a shadow of a doubt? I don't know, or not without a shadow of a doubt. I won't say not without a shadow of a doubt. But I'm getting closer each day by doing these exercises we're about to talk about. So you can relate to the intimacy with the purpose. I like that, actually, that choice of words. Why? Tell me, explain.
Well, I actually have a website, and I talk about our purpose, and one of the main purposes of Christ follower is we're worshiped for God. We're made for God, but there's also gifts that we have that is our purpose. And I have a gift, and it's been said, and I'm really realizing it, and I think that's why my next step that I'm doing, this is my gift, and it's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing it. I'm offering a book. And it's a book that is like a lot of people are like,
Good.
but but I know what you mean. Like and people have said stuff to me. I'm like, well, that is my gift. That is my gift. You know. So
And we're going to talk about gifts. All right. I just want, if you don't know what you're defined, and that's really good because you two are definitely, if you know it, great. If you have an inkling, you have a guess. Great, but that's going to be the very first thing that you're going to do in your breakout groups. You're going to make sure that this is not meant to be, this is meant to take with you and live like a living document that you build upon. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time and you're wasting your time, right? So I really, welcome, thanks for coming. My goal is to serve. And if I'm not serving you, then I'm wasting my time. So and I'm assuming that your goal is to gain access to that power that I firmly, without a shadow of a doubt, believe sits in all of us. Some of us say that we believe it, but if we truly believed it, we'd take action to access it, right? So it starts out with what your aim is. So I want you to, when you break out in your session 1, you're going to write down either what you know for sure your aim is, and not just, I went specific. And on that sheet you'll see it says specific. Exactly what it is tangible that you expect to receive, and by when do you expect to receive it? What, when? What, when? Whether it's a specific, if you don't know your purpose, make it into a goal, right? Because goals, we set them, we achieve them, we set new ones. So if it's a goal, there's a difference between a purpose and a goal, right? Someone,
Yes.
do you agree, disagree?
Yes.
All right. Either or, whether it's your purpose, your definitive aim in life, or if it's a goal, a stepping point in order to discover what that greater purpose is, write it down, be specific. I'm telling you, because these are things that you're going to take home with you, and if you are serious about it, when we're done with this exercise, you're going to have it written out. You're going to not only write it down, but things happen. Transformation happens when we speak it. I don't know, some people, and these are things that I actually do. I could have gotten up here and talked about patents and technology, and I didn't, because I really, my goal is to serve. And I tell you that this works. I mean, if I go through all my sad stories, you'd say, wow, you're standing up there smiling? We all have sad stories, but we're all right here, right now, where we're supposed to be. And then I want you to, in your small group, talk about what you believe the definition of success is. All right? So, we have 4 guys. Hannah, are you participating?
Yeah.
Okay, so Hannah is going to be back. That's going to be group 1 back there. Do you two know each other? You do know each other. I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Nicole.
Nicole, and what's your name?
Carrie.
Carrie. Nicole, do you know Kara?
Karen.
Karen. Okay, Karen. Welcome, Karen. Karen, Nicole, you guys don't know Hannah, right? Okay, you guys are going to be with Hannah. I purposely don't want you to be with people that you know. Tyler, you're close back there, so you don't know Hannah, do you? Or do you know Hannah? No, you don't know Karen or Nicole. Perfect. All right, so that's group 1. You know everybody. I'm trying to think.
I know her. And I want you to know her. So
Christine.
we want to be in the same group.
Brian. Brian. So potentially we only have 2 groups then. Well, yeah, I think.
And I don't
I think.
that, and
I actually think it's fine to have 1, 2, 3, 4, because then that'll leave 3. No, 3 and 3. That's fine. There's 4, 3, and 3. So you, Christine, Ryan will go over here, and then why do I keep forgetting your name? Suzanne, Matt. You guys don't know each other, right? And Alicia will be over here. Did I get everybody? Oh no, Justin. I don't know if you're gonna, but I think this is good for everybody. So Justin from one of these groups, doesn't matter because it's going to be an uneven number. And Sherman, you can pick from one of those groups if you'd like as well. Okay. So this is group 2. This is group 3. So you have. I'm going to do the timer because this is going to be quick. It's either if you don't know your purpose, you know your goal. Nothing is by coincidence.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're gonna sit here. What I see on something,
So sweet.
TV, you've probably been on a lot
I've
lately.
lost.
Yeah.
Karen, thank you. So Karen, I just found out, Karen is the owner of Edible Arrangements downstairs, and she brought us some more treats. Wow! See, you're special. And you bring us treats up here sometimes too. That's you. It's so nice to meet you. Oh, your stuff is delicious. So by all means, grab up some food while you're meeting. And I'm going to put this on 10 minutes. So 10 minutes. And make sure that one person hogs up the conversation. Okay, there we go.
Don't get the word. We're all talked down today, right?
For me, my goal of increasing.
I missed it. Okay, what is your
To start out generally, I think that
So,
I feel like my purpose is to help people, whatever that looks like in the So, and that can change for situations. And
That probably can be all-encompassing for everyone. Like trying to, when you're in business, you're trying to help people
right.
to network, work it out, because people want our business. So,
And I guess to take it to another level, personally, in the role that I'm in now, my goal is to improve my city. So that could take 10 years, 20 years. I don't know how long it will take. It's kind of hard to put a time frame on that. And it's hard right now because it's almost like it's not only physical issues, and I'm sure everyone can relate to this from being in this area. It's not only physical issues, but there's a lot of apathy in communities. Marina and I talk about it all the time with Wilkinsburg and Vanessa. And so you have to fix the built world, but you have to fix people too and kind of lift them up. So
and all that infrastructure.
yeah.
Politics, that's the most difficult.
NGOs and budgets. Yeah.
Kind of like the same, So, dealing with people, it's always something.
Definitely.
How to navigate.
Otherwise, we're just
Yeah.
existing, right? So making sure that
I'm
we're
still,
not just
I guess, thinking about what purpose is, how does it mean, doing what I like to do, I'm not sure.
daily action.
I'm sorry, I used to do.
Right, how it's just right.
But right now, personally, I'm just trying to know myself,
These are things that I've never
serve food?
so I can better do what I'm doing now. So, again, just like I like
So
how we
right
do
now
it, so
you're in
I
for
understand.
your purpose. Your life's
Like,
purpose.
for me, a bit kind of,
You're also like neighborhood production. Purpose to
but yeah, I just,
specifically what it is. What is
Just really
the
your business is doing well.
we started 2000. Well, me and him just came up with it in 2011, and we were like, well, we've been trained like, pretty much since high school. We learned how to do code and kind of how to turn it into something. So, yeah. And since we were kind of like times, it's always better to work with something like guys too. So it's like that. I was like, yeah, this is something it's cool. But from there, we just kind of did like various little things. But like this past couple of years is like pretty much the first time that business kind of like grew in a sense. We partnered with we were able to get our LLC, able to do this full time. So it's been a lot. It's been a journey, but it's pretty fun.
There's always an advantage of that, yeah.
And known him since like 9th grade. So
Really?
that's the Yeah, that's a really cool part about that. So.
Yeah, so I guess for me, it's just more so I feel like I am just reinventing myself.
You guys are case studies.
I've had several businesses.
Yeah, oh yeah, so very
Prior.
front.
And that's one of those things
Right
where,
there? I'm sorry, if you look at the very front of this, it'll be, we're actually writing down, you're actually writing it out, just FYI, and it's on the front page, sorry. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. Yeah.
This is the front, this is the front, right?
It's,
Yeah.
these ones are on the front of the packet.
we're all on the same page.
Welcome.
So,
Nice to meet you, Ingrid.
What was your businesses before?
okay, so in my mid-20s, I started off, I was a clothing designer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I designed a lot of clothes. Actually, I was one when they first came out with the fashion icon.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Dimitri, yeah, I was one of the designers.
Oh,
Yeah, so I started off with that.
that's several years ago.
Yeah, several years ago, yeah. And what I'm saying is to say that, I guess because I feel like when I'm reinventing myself, that is my purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm the type of person, I'm always changing, you know, and I feel as if that is a part of me. I think that, yeah, so from that point, yeah, I was a fashion designer, then after that I had a childcare center, which was located in Lawrenceville. I had that for like 8 or 9 years.
So
I started that in like 2004.
Is the plan we're working on?
And I closed it down in 2012. Due to because of all the redevelopment
Down there, yeah.
Lawrenceville.
Getting
So,
difficult, you know?
yeah, but it's one of those things.
And then we're gonna be
And now I'm into clean eating and juicing and energy drinks and smoothies and you know, that's a whole other purpose as well. Because I used to weigh 240 pounds.
You know, you're right.
2 years ago, I weighed 240 pounds. And just with the clean eating and juicing
take action,
and
it can be really
drinking
powerful.
smoothies that I lost over 65 and was able to keep it off. So by doing that, I would hold different groups at home.
Yeah.
I would hold different little groups at home. That makes
We have 4 minutes left.
convert this into a business. So that's why I started doing detoxing. You know, doing detoxing packages and things like that, which is that basically started House of Great Events. You know, so from that it's just this evolved. So it's one of those things where I can say like this right here is something totally different and new for me because I'm new to the food and beverage industry. A lot of my background and work is really working within communities, doing like community services, mutual youth and families and seniors. So this right here is totally new. You know, so but I feel that it also holds such a strong passion for me because I see the changes within myself, you know, on how you know, being more clean, you know, how just changing into a high lifestyle has changed for me, you know, from going from 240 pounds, you know, we're in size 18 to now size, what, 70, you know, is you know, something that I'm definitely doing in my life, you know, as far as my weight. So, so now it's just one of those things like, you know what, maybe this is my calling, maybe this is my passion because now I'm able to, you know, share information and give it to others who are dealing with, you know, the same problems that I once was. And it's great to see them, you know, see them change as far as, you know, as far as their weight, you know, as far as just their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, each time has been something totally different for me. And it's funny because when one guy is sitting here and he says, when I think of passion, he said like it's something that you're so intimate in. You know, I looked at all my businesses like I would eat it, sleep it, dream it. You know, it was just prayers, like you know, and all that.
That's passion.
Yeah. I'm like I could never sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's one of those things where I have a 12-year-old daughter. She's like, Mom, you open your eyes. It's just, I've never seen that before. You know, the kids are just so, you know, they gonna take you straight up.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, because it's just like I'm up for hours. But I've done this with a lot of, you know, of my previous businesses.
1 minute.
Yeah.
So, it's, I just feel like it's something that you can eat it, sleep it,
Right.
and, pray on it, and it's just something that never goes away. And hey, why not continue to, and then if you see,
Yes.
certain things from other people, as far as that are,
Yeah.
positive, that you are pushing out, why not continue with it? So it's, that's just where I'm at. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. And it's funny because I see, all these other people kind of come up with the juices, and clean and stuff like that. Yeah, we all might be doing the same thing, but at the end of the day, I have to hustle. I have to drive.
Yeah.
So important.
I have to hustle. I have to drive.
Yeah.
That's what drives. You will not out hustle me.
Right.
Hustle me
And
to
in
the
your
hustle.
way.
Yeah. So it's so that's where I'm at right now in my life right now. As far as things were so many different stages in my life.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we are done. So, right now, you should either have a definite aim, whether it be a purpose in life or a specific goal that you have. Right? You have it written down. This is going to become a live document. When I tell you this works, I swear it works, but it only works if you put action behind it. Faith without action is dead, right? So you can believe until the day is gone. I mean, that's the number one, I read a lot. That's the number one difference between people who succeed in life and people who don't. And we're going to talk about your definition of success. But, can you guess what the big difference is? Action. Starting what we finish. It took me a long time to learn that because my thoughts go in all sorts of directions, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me go this. Then I just had, remember when multitasking was so, I'm finishing what we start. And we start with the simple things. Whether it's sharpening a pencil. How easy is it to get interrupted? Do people even sharpen pencils anymore? But the very simple task, starting it and focusing your concentration and your attention on it until it's done. You'd be amazed, even when I think back in my own life and you think about all the things that you started that you never finished. So from today going forward, whatever it is that you wrote down, and you don't have to share, at the end, at the wrap-up session, for people who want to share, you'll have 2 minutes to share if you'd like to share. But whatever you wrote down, make a pact with yourself. No one's going to love you like you love yourself. No one, right? Serve yourself well by promising yourself that whatever you wrote down, you will finish. Okay? Do you have actionable steps yet? Written down. Are you specific? What about your timeline? How many people have a timeline that's less than 6 months? Hannah, Christine, Alicia? Less than 6. Here, I'm going to write this down because I'm going to check in. Did y'all all sign in? I really am, because I'm interested to know if this works. But I'm only going to really know if you commit to yourself. And if you don't do it, then you're really... I'm a firm believer that we cannot give what we don't have, right? So you can't give encouragement if you don't know how to encourage yourself. You can't give love if you don't know how to love yourself. You can't give peace if you're not at peace with yourself. So hopefully this sheet will haunt you until you are at peace with yourself, saying that I have done my full ability to execute on this. Because that's the only way that you will know for sure. You're going to see transformational growth when you start writing it down, speaking it into existence, and putting action toward it. You'd be amazed. people will come into your path, because it's been my story. Lord knows we can't do it alone. And I want you and your small groups, hopefully, I want you to, before the night's over, to exchange information and help hold one another accountable. Because I believe this is going to be, like, you guys are going to be the subjects in a bigger picture that you probably don't even see yet, but I see the vision. Which brings me to this, your thoughts. So, 2 minutes. Discuss, well, let me ask you this. Someone tell me the significance of thought. Has anyone read this book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen? If you haven't, it's a 45-minute read. It's less than an hour. When I say it's powerful, it is powerful. Have you ever achieved something that you haven't thought of, that you didn't think of initially? Have you ever accidentally achieved something? Have you done anything that a thought didn't perceive that action? This isn't rhetorical. Like, I really want to know. Have you? Welcome. I see you shaking your head. So you've done something where a thought didn't precede it? Go ahead, finish.
I work.
Take your time. No, someone, you can shoot. We'll come back. Have you ever done something where your thoughts didn't precede your action?
I work a lot on theatrical and musical improv because I hate so much when my actions precede my thoughts. So I intentionally do as much improv as I can in order to get past that.
Okay, but doesn't your mind have to tell you what to do?
No,
No,
that's not how improv works.
Really?
All you do is you go into the space and you think, I'm going to make sure the rest of the people up here look good. And then you just trust that you'll know what to do at the time. And yeah, a lot of the time you'll be thinking that. You'll be thinking, come your turn, you're thinking, oh, there's all these things that I could, and no, that's not the point.
Okay, so that's interesting. That's interesting. I challenge you to think about the fact that before you stepped on stage, your intent was to make the people look good, though, right?
Yes.
You thought about that. Or you would not have stepped on the stage to begin with, right? I mean, that was your intent before stepping on stage.
Yeah, that's so, the intention, is that we're all going to make each other look good. And so the point is just that we trust in the situation and that we're going to work together.
Good. Excellent. So this wasn't a trick question. Even when we think we're not thinking, even when the subconscious is powerful as well. That's why I don't watch TV. Those thoughts, everything that we do, there's a thought that precedes it. And we're going to talk about the types of thoughts and the role that your thoughts played when you wrote whatever you wrote on that paper. And I'll have to get you one. I'm sorry, what is your name?
Taya.
Taya, welcome. Glad to have you. Proud to see. You can join this group over here. Perfect. Look at that. Perfect. 12 is the number of foundation. I don't know if you know that. The 12 is the number of foundation. I told you this is just the right people, just the right group at the right time. So I want you to think about whatever you wrote down on that paper. What single thought preceded what you wrote? What single thought? And then once you write down that single thought, or maybe you have it in your head, I want you to ask yourself, is that thought a fact? Or is it just information? Is it a fact? Or is it just information? Is it was that thought something that you heard? Something that was maybe mentioned as a child that you should do or could do? Or maybe it's something that someone else said? Or is it a fact or is it information? Is it valid or are there biases attached to it?
I could respond.
Good, great, thank you.
it's not exactly what you asked for, but so the newest information that I wrote were these dates. You know, so these were things I have not written. All the other content has been written, and the thought that came into that new content of writing those dates were indeed connected to biases. They weren't facts, but it was a feeling of, oh shit.
Right.
Because I had this one date I had set for myself a while back of Sunday, April 1st, and missed that goal. So redefining that date for this first time is, it will have that force for the next 5 months or so.
So when you say your thought that preceded the what you wrote down, which was your aim, was it an aim in life or was it a goal that you had? It was a goal. It was a time-driven goal.
Yeah.
And so, how did you distinguish that thought from fact versus a bias information?
Because I suppose it's connected to this past feeling of, I guess I'd call it failure or regret to not catch that date. To not have achieved
And
that.
how often are we held back by failure and regret? Like for the people who you think have it all together, okay, newsflash. If they're in this skin, they don't. They know that. Now, some of them, they don't want you to know, but it's part of being human, right? And so when you think about the power of thought, that was so good. Ryan, I'm so glad you came. Ryan, he works out of this office space too. When you think about thought, because we all have those negative thoughts, generally they shine on us. And we think everybody else sees them, but really no one else is really thinking about us but us, right? But how can you channel those thoughts? Like, so when you think, man, I just did not do anything I said I was going to do today. I should have just stayed in bed. A, do you counteract that thought? And B, if you do, how? And if you don't, how does that impact the action that you wrote down? Do you even recognize the thought? Did you, at that point, did you even recognize that because I'm telling you, I talk the worst to me. Oh, I used to until I recognized it was a problem, I'd say, man, Ingrid, you're so stupid, why did you do that? And when I recognized the impact that was having on my actions that I took or didn't take as a result, powerful. These are little techniques that work. Really, they work. And you can speak on that because I know you're going through some things with being a new political person.
Not everything my brain says is true.
Most of it's not, right?
And I have control over when my brain starts going down one of those bad tracks. I can be like, no, I actually control this train. We're not going down that track. We're going down this track over here.
How do you do that? Or how did you recognize that was something that could move you forward towards your aim in life or your goal or your purpose?
Psychology classes.
Oh. I didn't have the pleasure of taking psychology classes, but she's absolutely right. Tao, right?
Yes.
Seems good, huh? Is there anyone, are you clear on the power of the thought and how to combat that? Do you experience, did you break down the thought or your goal, your aim, and what's preventing you, if anything, from getting there?
I think it's just, for me, I think it's just a lot of voices, not only my own, because some days, you wake up and you're like, you can't do that. You can't pull that off. Like, this is myself talking. And so I have like this internal fight with myself. But other times it's other people chirping in your ear. Whether they're friends or not, and whether they mean well or not, they're still chirping in your ear. So it's real, you have to learn how to sift through all of that. Kind of, pull out, there might be some valid information that you can use, that you can pull out. but a lot of the times it's just clutter and static. So
That's interesting. Does anyone want to share someone different? I want to hear from people I haven't heard from. That's very good. Is that you're not the only one that has that. It's called doubt, self-doubt. All right. And when that's the enemy with procrastination and negative self-talk. But there are simple techniques that will take you from here to here if you so choose to act on it. I'm telling you, it could keep you here, drop you lower, or it can really lift you high. I was going to say this picture. What comes to mind? Karen, when you look at this picture, what comes to mind for you? 'Cause you hit on that.
What comes to mind is,
Excuse me.
you know, is it real? Is it attainable? That's what comes to mind.
Do you know what that is? Maybe I guess people could have different.
So it's two types of thought.
I'm talking about the actual picture in the background.
Oh, no, I wasn't actually.
The power of thought, right?
Right, I was reading.
Because we were thinking about thought, and we weren't. You see how my mind works? It's crazy. But yeah, so the actual picture on the because the other picture had a meaning too, and I forgot to. Every picture has a meaning.
Oh,
So, does anyone? Do you know what that is? What is it? A building? Do you have thoughts? What thought comes to mind when you look at that?
I think it's cool. I don't know. Nothing profound. But when I'm like in the city downtown, that's like my favorite place to stand under a really tall building. I really like doing that. I don't know why. It's just really cool to me because I guess it reminds me how small I am, and that's okay. And I think that's fine. And it's also cool to see. I know like the UPMC building, one of my great uncles helped build it. So it's cool to think about what we can do. Why together.
So she had an important point, and what made me think about that is what Matt said about not being able to see you know the old saying, we're only as big as we can see ourselves, whatever your definition of big is, but if you don't see yourself in that big, whatever it is that you wrote down, the chances are, like, you won't get there. So with every thought, sometimes that building to me represents the space that Matt and Brian and probably every human being you've ever been in contact with, we reach what we think is that glass ceiling, and that we limit ourselves instead of realizing that we live in a limitless world. Regardless, and you know, this is factual information. I'll share some facts. Make sure that you sign in with your email address. But you know this, people think that if you're a certain gender, you're a certain color, if you're of a certain race, if you're of a certain economic status, that it prohibits you from attaining that limitless, and that you're always going to reach that glass ceiling on the top of that building. And studies have showed that it has nothing to do with that. Nothing. When you have a definite aim and your purpose to do it, and you put action behind it, and you combat those negative thoughts, you crash through that ceiling. And then people will look at you and say, "Oh, Susan, you're so lucky. I'm going to be like Susan." But nobody sees all that work and the trampling and then the falling and the tactical things that she had to learn and put into action in order to crash through that ceiling. All they see is her at this limitless, seemingly limitless place, and with no problems. That's why I put that there. Hannah, you've been quiet, so we're gonna have you speak here in a minute here. So when you have your thought, so accurate thought is this, just for time's sake. Accurate is making sure that you are able to distinguish between fact that you've learned for yourself, things that you know that you know that you know that you know, and things that were ingrained in you, and biases and stereotypes. Like, they could have said, Ingrid, you're a black woman from a small town and depressed town, Menneson, and you can't start a company. You can't go after big companies and get this patent pushed through. You can't have a seminar like this. You can't. That goes back to those people chirping in your ear. Probably why I'm not around a lot of people. See, you should really look. You attract what you get. So, I mean, we can't choose our families, but we can certainly choose who we choose in our circle. And if they're not uplifting you, if they're not encouraging you, if they're not doing all those things to nurture you, whose fault is it that they're in your circle? It's yours, right? You know, so if you're around people who always blame other people for stuff, we take our own, we're responsible for our environment. You have the power. You can choose to access it, or you can choose not to. But when you access it, once one amazing thing happens, and I'm telling you what I know, and it's like I want to really serve and share. These are things that, who knows where it might be next year? Who knows? That's why I want to follow up with you guys. If you put this stuff into action and you make it, get a journal, write in it. Man, I know that sounds real girlish, but I'm telling you, it works. Write it down. Recognize those thought patterns. Recognize when you're procrastinating and not taking that action. Recognize it, write it down, combat it. Get somebody in your circle that's going to help hold you accountable. And watch things happen. Floor by floor by floor by floor. And everything is a climb. Alicia.
Well, you spoke on it. Like I wanted to say that it's very important, you know, who you're surrounded, you know, with, and who's in your circle, you know, because you know I suffer from procrastination, you know, at times, and it's not like I'm such a big thinker. I guess because that's just the Pisces in me, you know.
I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
See, that's something with the water signs, right?
So, I'm a big thinker. However, I do know that it's one of those things where I have to really watch who's in my center, you know, because, you know, that person or people can alter, you know, on what you're thinking, how you feel, and where you want to be.
Right, and your energy.
Exactly. So it's not
energy
always
is
the
real.
thought.
Yeah.
It's not always the thoughts. You know, it can also be like the physical, the people around you. So I've learned, you know, and you know, through my journey, you know, sometimes you have to let them go. It's like, okay, I have love from you. I can love you at a distance, but at the end of the day, I have to continue to do.
Yep. You know, what someone once told me? They said, Ingrid, people are either pouring into you, good energy into you, or they're pulling energy from you. The ability to distinguish between the two, just like accurate thought. It's either real or it's perceived to be real. Being able to determine the difference. Everything starts with a thought. I'm telling you, you are not limited. The only thing that limits you are your thoughts and your level of commitment to the action that goes behind your thoughts. And we're winding down. Interactive session number 2, talents. So, when you think of talents, this is what I think on the front of the paper, I wrote it down. Is this good? Are you having fun? Like, is this? Yes, good? Okay. Stop me if it's not, honestly. I mean, you won't hurt my feelings. You know what? Because I have power over my thoughts and I will not take it personally. So under talent, so session number 2, talent. So just answer this question. We're not going to get into this whole, there's 1,000,001 questionnaires you can take online, but I want you to ask yourself this question. What is it that seems like work to everybody else that comes easy for you? That's it. This is like, should take 2 minutes. Write it down. What is it that seems like work to everybody else but comes easy to you? Or if you don't know what everybody else thinks, just what comes easy to you? Like this comes easy to me. I know people who are terrified speaking in front of people, and man, I like feed off of it. I wish there was 100,000 people here. And I receive it. I see the vision. I swear I do. Where there's 7,000. I said 100,000. Let me stop. But oh yeah, right. Can we fit 100,000 people in Vanessa? I don't know. Oh, I do. I see the vision downtown as clear as day. I have it written down. I even know the measurements of the window. That's how specific you got to get with your stuff. Because if you're not specific, you got to want it. And we're going to talk about that. Tenacity is next. You got to know why you want it. And it's almost like you're cheating yourself or cheating. I call him God. You can call him the universe, higher power. But it's almost like he puts all this stuff here, and then most of us don't even access it. Like, you feel bad, right? I feel bad, right? I feel like, shame on us, shame on me. You're ripping off the world! That is so big. We didn't talk about the definition of success, but Ryan, you're so on. That is exactly, most people, and I just for time's sake, I was going to go around and I asked you to write down the definition of success, did you? Justin, what's the definition of success to you?
What's the definition
Of your success?
of my success?
Or to you, the word success to you?
Well, completing, to me, it's more like completing basically what I set out to finish. I say I can become successful with many different things. Right now, I feel like I'm still working on certain things to become more of a successful person to what I want to reach in life. So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I define success.
So when you attain it?
Yeah. So,
are you working
like when
to?
you were talking about finishing certain, goals or what you set out to do.
Great.
That's how
That's how you measure success. Okay,
yeah.
good. And you're finishing one thing at a time, right?
I'm actually working on that. So when you're talking about learning how to multitasking and everything, and your thoughts are going everywhere. I feel like that's where I'm at kind of right now, and I'm trying to work on concentrating on certain things at a time. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Do any of you belong to a mastermind group? Have you heard of a mastermind group? You heard of a mastermind group?
I'm not doing one yet.
You haven't joined one? Make sure you guys sign in. I think that's powerful because one person's knowledge is not nearly as powerful as a group of people's knowledge with different gifts and talents. Remember that. But Ryan, that was the success definition that I always wondered what success was, and I thought the same thing, like finishing what you set out to do. But really, when we think about it as we're cheating the world if we don't pour out our best selves. Like, at the end of the day, we're here to serve. And when you think about that, and when you meet people, whether they're nice to you or whether they're not so nice to you, when you think about what's inside of them and the desire to serve humanity, it just, the skin is going to go, it's going to decay, everything that we don't use decays at the end of the day. And your mind, if you're not exercising your mind, it's going to decay. You know, so when you really think about purpose and what you wrote down that you intend to do, think about how are you serving humanity? Will it even be remembered once you're gone? So did everybody write down their talent, their goal, or their gift? Something that you do better than anybody else. Hannah, what do you do better than anyone else?
I learn things pretty
Who
quickly.
has the other mic? Oh, there you go.
I wrote down, but I didn't write it down. But I learn things pretty quickly. So when I'm working with people and we don't necessarily know what to do, I usually come up with creative solutions pretty quickly. And then learning new skills.
So you are a quick learner and you're a problem solver. Now, the question is, when you think about that, can I try one of these? When you think about that and then you read what you wrote down, does what's on that paper match up with the gift? With your talent? It's just yes or no. I mean, you can share if you want to, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll share a little bit. So I work in a startup where there's not necessarily a correct path forward or a known path forward, and I think every single thing we do requires learning something that not anyone on the team necessarily has done before or knows. So yeah, every action we take, every deliverable we fulfill or goal we meet usually has some sort of new task or unknown task associated with it. And I think at the root of our company is the idea that we're going to be solving challenging problems for our customers. So every step of the way we're kind of problem solving. So yeah, I think it's very much related to being willing to learn new things and to be very open and flexible with our solutions.
Good. Give us your 60-second elevator pitch so we can get it on video about your... No, you don't want to? All right. Well, tell her the name of your business. She has a great business, so she's so modest about it. But, okay, that's fine.
You can try it or feel like public speaking.
Oh, I met her last year, and it's amazing how paths cross again. Nothing is coincidental. Like, nothing is coincidental. I went and happened to eat at lunch when I was like, oh, I'm having this event. Let's hear. And I mean, everything is. What's your talent that comes easy to you? For you?
I wear many hats.
What's the
Running
first
a
thought that came
business.
to mind?
Running a business.
Be more specific, because that tells a lot.
Clothing.
Clothing.
Style.
Design.
And communication with people, all of those.
And does that coincide with your life purpose or your goal?
Yeah,
that
we
you wrote
kind of
down?
touched on the major thing that all of us have in common is passion. And when it's passion for your business or for your goals, your career, it doesn't seem like work. And that's most important. If it really comes from your heart, it's like not working. It just comes easy to you and you just go with the flow.
So do you feel as if you are serving humanity by...
Exactly.
Okay, good. So everybody has a talent, right? You wrote it down. Make sure that it coincides with your first mission, because that's your mission. And when I say I'm going to follow up, I really do, because I want to know when you customize your list. And then we're going to 25 after. So this is the last one. And then we're going to do a wrap-up group session. We'll wind down. So interactive session number 3 deals with tenacity. I never really looked up the definition of tenacity. Take a minute and read it. And tell me how that relates to where you are, what you wrote down. Or maybe you have a different definition. really good. They're chocolate covered pineapples. Yeah, you need to get one. You guys need to get one. They are delicious. Edible arrangement. Thank you, Karen. 6401 Penn Avenue, edible arrangement. Or downstairs next to us. I don't know what your address is, but
Same address.
same address. They're delicious.
Yeah, that's tenacity. That's one of the things that we've discussed, in our group, and
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was saying that this is my third business that I've started. Yeah, and I was saying that I'm in a smoothie business. I'm in the food and beverage business.
We
And
can
this is
have you
something-
cater our next event.
with smoothies and energy drinks and juices. Okay. But what I'm saying is that now you see a lot of shops and stores open and they're basically doing the same thing. But one thing I could definitely say that I have the hustle that a lot of people don't have. It's the hustle and the drive that if you have that, it will outshine anyone.
Interesting. So that is there. What's your why behind the hustle?
What's my why?
Yeah. So the why? You got to ask yourself
Yeah,
why
so
is it?
my why is.
I mean, if you want to share,
Oh,
but,
sure,
but
definitely.
you do have a why.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
My why is my lifestyle. And this comes from 2 years ago. I stated to him I weighed 240 pounds. Okay, I lost over 65 pounds.
Congratulations.
Kept it off from just eating more plain, drinking green smoothies, juices, and so it's something that, like I said, it's nothing for me to get up and make me a smoothie, make me a juice. It's nothing for me, because I have seen and I've experienced the journey as far as just shedding.
And so
now
now
all
you're
of those
helping
things.
other people
Exactly.
walk through that journey.
Exactly.
Good.
Just detoxing and cleansing. So. Yeah.
So it's personal.
It's personal.
She has a personal why.
Yeah.
Now I wrote that on the under tenacity. Thank you for sharing. Congratulations. Do you have a personal why? Why is it that every time you get knocked down that you get back up? Or do you even get back up? Well, you got up to come here. Thank you. But do you know someone who they haven't gotten back up, that they feel defeated? I bet you do. So what is it? You don't you know what it is for you. But the point is, you should have a why. Right. At first she said, that's just who I am. But then as I listened to her story, it wasn't, you are that person, but it's personal. It's personal. And if you don't know the reason why you're doing what you're doing, or not doing, you're going to keep reaching that glass ceiling, no matter who you have around you, because you're going to get tired. Matt, you can probably speak on that, right? Because being in a political office, it's tough, right? You got to know it's not something that's exciting all the time, right? Cars and insurance and patents aren't exciting all the time. There's a why. I think it's great to work in the field that you are excited about, but not everybody does that,
When you spoke on energy earlier, so in your personal life, you could obviously, people are bringing you down. If they're just, friends that are bringing bad energy or whatever, you could distance yourself. But at work or in the political field, you get all of these negative people, and you can't easily distance yourself from them if you have to work with them repeatedly. So for me, also fellow Pisces. Okay. So so I feed off of other people's energy a lot, and when I'm around negativity, it really bogs me down. So I have to constantly go back and re-energize myself, or go back and find a happy place, whether it's driving somewhere or taking myself out to eat like somewhere away from where people will know me or whatever that may be. I always have to recharge myself, and I think that that's really important to do.
So that's a good point. It's always great lead-ins to our next. So this is MLK's 50th year of assassination. I keep going back to that because I think it's just so great. I didn't know that when I selected this date. Like, I could have done it yesterday. I could have done it the next day. It was today. He's known for another famous. There's a million quotes, but he says, "Nothing draws out the light and darkness, hate and love. What drives out hate is love. Kindness." I have pineapple on my teeth now, but this is really good. It's worth it. So that's a tactic that I use, honestly. I use kindness because when I look at them, I'm not really looking at them. Because most people don't even realize the impact that they're having, right?
Yeah.
So it's all in your thought process. Sometimes someone is rude and I'll say, you know what, they just don't know any better. It's not even their fault. Had they known, if they knew, but if they knew, they wouldn't, right? So I treat them with kindness, almost to the point where you feel sorry for them and you try to help them see it the way that you intended it. But love combats that, because we all deal with it, right?
And that's where tenacity comes in, because you have to be persistent or stubborn and just keep going at it.
Persistency. Every person, I don't know if you've ever sat and talked to or listened to people who you may deem successful, but they will all tell you that they are connected with a higher power. They will tell you that they have a definite plan written out, that they speak affirmations, and they will tell you that I never gave up, and that you didn't see my tears. I'm a big Oprah fan. Go figure, right? And I hate that I ate that pineapple now, but I can't get it out my teeth. But she doubts herself, and that surprised me. She has this book called What I Know for Sure. I mean, if you haven't read it, read it. It's an easy read. Or Audible. I'm a big Audible fan. Hey, maybe I can send Audible a check. Or they can send me a check, huh? What I Know for Sure. You know, and she said, what I know for sure is that I still get those butterflies. I still doubt myself. I still think people are talking about me. I was afraid what they might think about me. I'm reading this thinking, wow, this is Oprah. This is Oprah after she made it. You know what I mean? One thing I like most about being here at Ascender is I'm around other people like Ryan, Nicole. Because when you're alone, you feel like you're going through this roller coaster of a ride. You know how it is, because there are a lot of business owners here. You feel like you're alone. Like some days you're up here and some days you're down here. And then you get into a whole room full of people and you're like, oh my goodness, everybody feels like that. And there's power and there's comfort in that. As long as it changes your thought process and it gives you that to keep going. That's that tenacity, that grit. That distinguishes people who are quote-unquote successful and people who simply exist. And everybody will tell you that they have a why. So know your why. Make sure that you have it written down. Now, we're going to wrap up, and I'm going to choose hey, social media time. Zoom. So I want you guys to do me a favor. I know you have your mobile phones. I don't know what you use. We have a Facebook page. Like our Facebook page. That's probably the most active one. We're on Twitter @ShazoomIt. We're on Instagram at Shazumit. If you're gonna take some selfies, I wonder if we can probably do a group selfie after we're done, and we'll post it. I'll post it. All right. Make sure you share your business cards so we can do that. We got to support one another if we're all in business. Matt, we'll bring the roadshow to Vanessa, okay? So this is what I want to do. I want to get, for people who have less than 6 months goals written down, was there at least one in each group? Well, let me ask you this. Was this useful? Would you tell me if you thought otherwise? Okay, good. Thank you. I didn't know, I didn't get specific with you guys on what your expectations were tonight, but remember, if you don't try these techniques, I gave you, let me just recap. I gave you multiple different techniques. Are there any that you were already using that we spoke about? There were a couple? Is there anyone who they weren't using any of these techniques previously? Oh, you weren't? Good. Did you guys use any of these techniques? Well, let me run down the techniques on thought, which was being able to recognize your negative thought pattern and combat that with a positive thought pattern. Was there anyone active? Like, that's hard to do, honestly. It's hard to recognize, stop yourself and say, oh, Ingrid, that was just a bad negative thought. You know, I mean, were you doing that? If you weren't doing it, will you commit to do it now? The second one was being able to make sure that your goals are very specific. Exactly what you will achieve, when you will achieve it, and then each action step you will take to achieve it. And then writing it out and stating it a minimum of 1 time per day. Was there anyone already doing that?
I was writing about a minimum 1 time a day.
Yeah, you're going to write it down and read it out loud. Sounds crazy, but watch. For people who actually do this, I can't wait to talk to you in 6 months. It seems crazy, but until you do it, you'll realize it actually works. And then that tenacity piece, that perseverance, making sure that you remind yourself every time you get knocked down and you have to get back up, or you choose to get back up. Remember your why. And remember what Ryan said about serving the greater good of humanity. You are here not for yourself. You're here for a reason that's so much bigger than you will ever probably know. What you do or don't do will not just impact you. It'll likely impact people that you will never meet. People that may not have even been born yet are depending on you to access and tap into your TX3 power. It's up to you. And it's not about you. Isn't that interesting? So I need a commitment. I need you guys to find a commitment partner, an accountability partner, and I want you to, I'm going to make sure everybody has my card tonight. Tell me who your partner is. And this is your first action item, actually. For those of you who do it, I know you're serious, and I'll probably follow up with you. If you don't do it, then I know it was probably just something to do tonight and some great food, which is great too. But if you do it, then that gives me an inkling that you'll actually follow through. Because I really, if it works for you, I think it's a simple thing. If it works, then think about the greater good of sharing your story with other people. How powerful will that be, right? Does that excite you? It excites me. It just excites me. All right. Questions? Last remarks from the group. Any group leaders want to Why don't you, anybody want to share what their expectations were coming in versus in 2 minutes or less? What your expectations were coming in versus what you left from. I'm going to give people an opportunity. Tyler, we haven't heard from you. You've been quiet. Expert, your expectations walking in versus what you're leaving with.
Well, I probably had a little bit different expectations. I came just to take pictures, but I actually participated a little bit. It's kind of cool. Learned a lot. I like the process. So thank you for that.
What was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway was the goal, and then the definition of success. Actually defining it and seeing what it means to me.
Good. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did.
Good. Excellent. Anyone else want to share? Karen? I know this was last minute because I know you had no. Yeah, all right. Any big takeaways?
I normally write my goals down.
Don't
So
see there.
that wasn't a new thing, but you're definitely inspiring me to go outside my comfort zone a little bit, because I have to actually trust someone else to help me get through this little situation. So, yeah. But I've always written my goals down. Every single day I write my goals down.
I know, right? Excellent. Let me get your wonderful.
Yeah.
Mastermind groups are great. If you email me, I'll share some more information. Hannah? Any expectations versus any big takeaways?
So my expectation coming in was to support fellow female founders. So I'm really happy you're doing this. And I think it's awesome that you're sharing and contributing. And yeah, I also use a lot of the things that you mentioned. I write a task list every day and try to visualize a lot where I want to be and try to do it with specificity so it can be quantified and measured. So if we don't meet our goals, we can look back and see what we can change too. So I think those are really helpful.
Good. See, that's why you are a pioneer, solving those difficult problems. Nicole! Don't you love her hair? I love your hair, Nicole.
I wanted to support. Ingrid is so kind and she's always like a cheerful spirit around the office. So when I saw that she was doing this, I wanted to support, and it was great. Honestly, I'm in a place right now where I need to be more specific with my goals and really take action, so this is a good place to start.
Oh, that's so sweet. I didn't even know she knew my name. That is so nice. Look at there. This is a big place, by the way, so if anybody wants a tour, I'll be happy to do that. Matt, Alicia, Ryan, any last minute?
What? I didn't have any expectations. I just
big takeaways.
It was one of those things where I got an invite from Natalie, and I said, okay, let me roll with it.
Thank God for Natalie,
yeah,
right?
But I'm happy that I was able to, to come and just to meet new faces and new people. The big takeaway for me was basically, like the goal setting. It's one of those things where, I write down a lot of my goals. Like I said, I struggle with procrastination. So it's one of those things where I know I just have to, just push through it.
Goal setting was a big. Yeah. What about speaking your goals? Do you guys speak your goals? You speak them? I know you guys, Hannah and Karen said they both write them down every day. I mean, not tasks, but goals. All right.
Yeah, when you have a team, you have to make sure your team also is on the same path. So you have to communicate that. People are
right. You're a good leader. The biggest companies, they don't communicate. You can tell when you call customer service one department saying this. I had that experience yesterday. It was horrible. Ryan, what's your big takeaway in 30 seconds?
Yeah. Well, the idea of verbalizing goals every day, that's new, and I can definitely see the power there. Yeah, and it's just the timeliness of this. I mean, as you know, I'm kind of in a really new startup phase with my work, and over the past couple of weeks, it's become almost drowning in too many tasks at once and losing sight of the why. So I've been encouraged by many coaches to take a half step back and be okay with losing that time progress and, you know, get square on the force that's behind all of it in the first place.
I can definitely relate. I can relate. And you know what I did recently, or what I'm working on doing, is putting everything I have to do on like the board back there, and then sections, like taking out the things that only I can do, that I have to do, and then figuring out how the other stuff will get done. You know, and then doing one at a time, and start to finish. So that's really good. So we're all struggling with the same thing. Any last minute takeaways? 30 seconds or less?
Hello again. I liked the everyone's in our group their definition of success and hearing how you know, the difference and how they're all good. And I do like being around people. It's refreshing to hear because I'm online a lot, blog and trying to, and when you see on the what people post, and sometimes it just seems so fake, and then whenever you're here, like people really do feel there is feel.
Yeah. Oh, this was genuine.
Yes.
Very genuine.
So I liked that.
Good. Good. Yeah. People need to share real humanistic things. Any big takeaway you want to share?
Just that I need to get more like serious with my goals and be around more positive.
Mastermind groups. Make sure you email me. We need to create one.
Yeah, create one.
Big takeaway. 30 seconds or less.
I'm not dead.
Amen to that. Every day when you wake up. Amen. I like her. I love the energy. You're right. The fact that we woke up and we have breath in our mouth means that it's another chance to get it right, and we're purposed to still be here. How many people do you know who are not here? Unfortunately, I know too many people that are not here who are younger than me. So you are so right, and what a beautiful way to end this session is every moment, every morning you wake up and you have breath in your mouth. It's an opportunity to give thanks and to go back to your goal. Don't beat yourself up because you didn't get X, Y, and Z done. The fact that you were graced with another opportunity to do so. And one thing I also learned is get out. That's why I came to lunch the other day, because I started eating lunch here. And sometimes when we just get up and get out, amazing things happen. So I encourage you to get out of your space. Thanks for driving from Vanessa and Matt.
Sure.
Thanks for coming. That's a long ride. Get out of your space, and you never know how you impact others. Like, that was so sweet, Nicole. You made my day. I mean, I didn't even know that she thought that I, you know, and here I am just being me. So you never know what will happen or may not happen if you don't get up and get out of your comfort zone. All right? I love the fact that it was 3 groups of 4. You guys were supposed to be here. Email me. I want to know this mastermind group if you want to be a part of it. I want to know who your accountability partner will be, or if you need one. And I want to follow up with you in 6 months because I'm anxious to see if what you wrote down is progressing. And if it's not, why? So don't let yourselves down. Don't let humanity down. Thank you for coming.